almost falls down. Throws to the end zone. On!
It will change. And I'm not trying to tell you something. It's going to change. It's not like that. Okay, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. It will change. And it will change because they wanted to change. Not because of me. It will change because they want to be champions.
Smith in the gun, the throw on his left hip. Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking, got it, post, and it's good! Touchdown, 49! Vernon Davis with the play of his life. It all comes to this fourth down. 4th and 4 at the San Francisco 10. Ryan in a shotgun. Rodgers to his left. 3 receivers right. Ryan takes the snap. Looking, pressure, throws middle. Broken up by Navarro Bowman. And the 49ers silence the house.
First of all, start recording. Take go. Fuck this. First of all, if I shit my fucking pants, I'd fucking own up to it. That's fucking bullshit. You're the fucking cunt. I saw the look on your face. What's up, gold-blooded motherfuckers? Daddy's here. I was struggling for energy on the ride here. We get here. We got a fucking Sherlock's home case. We're motherfucking on it. The fucking Niners are in the fucking Super Bowl.
Sherlock is definitely home.
Yeah. Fuck, something's going on. There's something fishy up in this bitch. Fuck. Niners are in the Super Bowl. It's a good week, boys.
4 days away.
4 motherfucking days away. That's, whoo.
Seems very surreal. This is a
bizarre time.
It's a wild time in my life.
It is
a wild time.
It feels different than it did the last time.
But that's got nothing to do with it.
My life is like,
yeah.
It's a wild time.
The Harbaugh time, you had the whole first season of build-up, you make it to the NFC Championship game, and then the entire second season, you know they're for real, and they go through it all, and they make it, like, this season, it was just like, bam! Fucking Super Bowl.
I mean, that's how they happen, though.
I just mean, like, there's a baby in my house. I'm opening a business.
Yeah.
The Niners are in the Super Bowl. It's like I can't even keep my fucking head straight.
Yep. I feel similar. I don't have children or a new business, but I'm trying to.
But the Niners are in the Super Bowl.
But I am trying to.
So it's a weird time in your life.
No, it's a real weird time in my life. There's a lot going on.
No, it was just funny the way you said it.
Yeah,
though.
no, I know.
Like, I listed 3 things. And you're like, well, I don't have either of those things, but it's very similar.
Yeah, I mean, I've been interrogated by the police in the past month. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
That's not different.
I have no idea what you mean.
Yes, it is. I've been interrogated by the police in like 2 decades. It's been a long time. So there was that. I'm trying to get a different job, I guess you could say. A lot of weird shit's going on, and I feel like at the epicenter of it all, the 49ers are in the Super Bowl.
2020.
Like, I keep telling Jessica every day for the past, 8 days, I wake up and I'm like, she doesn't get up for a few hours after me, but at 6 a.m. I wake her up and I do, hey, baby, I slightly touch her arm, and she's like, yeah, what do you need? I'm like, the Niners are in the Super Bowl in 9 days, and every day it's one less day, and she's like, yeah, I don't need to be woken up at 6 a.m. to hear this. I'm like, you're gonna, bitch.
That's incredible.
Every day until kickoff. You better hope they don't win, because you'll then get woken up for 365 days. Baby, Super Bowl champs. With that said, Steve, you want to do some news?
News, injuries, updates.
Wait, hold on. Are you, in this aspect and segment of things, are you willing to admit that was you that shit your pants last week? Is anybody here willing to admit that?
No.
Because when I listened back, I nearly got
And you're the only one that smelled it.
So, hold on. If I shit my pants, right, I would then bring attention to it. Like, hey, everybody, look at me. I shit my pants. It doesn't make sense, Steve. I actually shit my pants in the 1st grade. We've told this story. And
I don't think we have, but okay.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No?
No, I don't think so.
I'll be quick. The 1st grade, I definitely told this story probably season 1. I was wearing brown.
Matterson.
I was wearing brown corduroys.
That's fucking
brown panties.
That's luck, huh?
It's ironic, right?
That's fucking luck.
Yeah. I had Spider-Man underwear on. A shit nugget came out of my asshole. I managed to contain it in
Where
my.
else would it come
This is
out?
fucking vile. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, easily. I managed to contain one shit nugget in my pant leg for like an hour in school, and it rolled up and down my leg, creating, in essence, a shit runway straight down my leg. At
How
some,
did it roll back up?
I had my leg. It was a whole thing.
I had.
Stand by.
He had his leg, Steve. He had his leg.
You had your leg.
It was the whole thing, Steve. He had, in fact, he almost had 2 legs. Just one, though.
Imagine if he didn't have a leg.
You'd have nowhere to roll.
The shit nugget.
What were you in 0 gravity in 1st grade? How did it roll back up your leg?
Is that
Were
space
you on a
camp?
space
Oh,
shuttle?
it's so good. I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But the shit was in my pants enough to cause chaos. It rolled itself into a ball. It rolled out of the bottom of my pant leg, out into space in the classroom. Miss Tefano was her name, the teacher. She sees what appears to be. I mean, the smell must have been fucking wretched.
A brownie
in
bite?
hindsight. No, she assumed it was just like mud. You know what I mean? So she said, of course, to one of only 2 black children in the class, Eric Askew was his name, son, can you pick up that piece of mud and throw it in the garbage? He picked it up. He said, smells like poop, and threw it in the garbage can. Meanwhile, I'm just fucking terrified. The school day ends. I walk outside. I meet my sister. We get into my mother's Cadillac. Immediately, she knows what the fuck is going on because, again, I must have smelt like your basement last week. She fucking immediately. Now, I don't know about how you guys grew up, but when I made a mistake in my life and something bad happened, I wasn't comforted and spoken to like, oh shit, this might have been a traumatic situation. Maybe we should wear kid gloves. No, I was beaten and yelled at for making a fucking mess of myself. I was beaten all the way into the house as she was ripping my clothes off. For the rest of my life, I will never forget being thrown into the bathtub as my mother crumpled up the shitty pair of brown corduroys and flung them out of the bathroom, nearly hitting my sister. I was beaten while I was washed and then sent to bed with no dinner. And that was the time I shit my pants in the 1st grade. So what do you think about the Chiefs, Steve?
I think you need to relive your childhood. Please take Rob up on his offer. All right.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, what would you do if your kid came home from 1st grade and he shit his pants?
First time.
Probably not that.
Yeah, no.
I had never had an accident
Yeah,
like this
I mean-
prior. Never. Unfucking real.
Hey. Hey.
I love it.
She never had another one.
Yeah, you're right.
I have
about that.
I have a few things are perplexing me, besides the fact that it rolled back up your leg.
And he had a leg?
Yeah. But usually, an accident is because it's bad consistency.
Yeah, this was solid. I don't know what to do.
And it doesn't usually sneak out if it's solid, you know? It's not usually like, oops.
Rolling around like a ball.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's like a rabbit. You took a rabbit shit.
Yeah, I did. I mean, still, my whole life, I've always kind of shat like a rabbit.
Okay.
Might be the title.
News, injuries, updates. Kwaski Tart and Quan Alexander, they were limited today, and they are expected to play Sunday. Tevin Coleman dislocated his shoulder in the NFC Championship game. He returned to a limited practice today, and I don't know if I want to air that.
Yeah.
All right, so how much thought have you, I'm sure plenty, thoughts going into this game? Initial thoughts, broad strokes.
Okay. Here's one. Here's a broad, vague generalization. Why? Well, I guess I know the answer to that. Rob, you can go. I was going to say, and I'll answer my own question. I was going to say, why is it that the narrative all week is, well, can Jimmy G win this game, you know, based on experience, when, like, Patrick Mahomes has the same amount of fucking starts? I mean, granted, I know they throw for more yards, but, like, he's 22 and fucking 5 or whatever it is. It's a ridiculous narrative. It's offensive.
I don't care. I like it. I'd rather that
No,
than...
I hear you, but it's,
I'm way
it's
more happy
disrespectful.
that every analyst thinks that the Chiefs are going to win.
It's setting up beautifully.
I way more prefer that.
yeah.
I hate being
Beautifully.
the fucking...
I gotta tell you, up until the NFC Championship game, very few people picked the Packers. We were at home.
Yeah,
but
it
some
felt
did.
so uncomfortable.
No,
I hated
it didn't. That felt right because
Ugh.
there was no question they were going to win that game. To me, I like being the sneaky underdog here.
Yeah. How the team like this is sneaky underdog is beyond me. I'll ask this. We'll start with the offense first. I got a lot of stuff for the offense. How many points do you guys think we need to score in order to win this game? Both go one at a time.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
Not a score prediction, just minimum.
To guarantee or because there's different ranges there. I think if we score 37 points, we're guaranteed to win.
I don't need a guarantee, just like a minimum amount of points we need to score to win by 1 point.
24.
I don't know. I feel like Kansas City might whip out more than that. I'm going to say 28.
28.
Here's my take on it. If you put a couple drives together, long drives, 6-minute, 8-minute drives, eat up, couple.
Yeah. I mean, there's certainly
Right.
ways to win this
Yeah.
game 10-7.
Yeah,
But
so I see that kind of being, and I think everybody thinks that Kansas City's going to score at will. No, they don't know. They never seen an animal like this beast that's going to be coming at them.
Well, what I was getting at, and Stevie's stats is going out with a bang.
Oh boy.
Joe was close. Rob, I think, was right on the money, and that was my number. I say we need to score 28 points minimum in order to win this game. In 8 career losses by Patrick Mahomes, 7 of those 8 losses, the opposing team has needed to score a minimum of 25 or more points to win.
That was a point off. Price is Right rules. I take that shit home.
Okay. And there's only one time that Mahomes has lost.
wait a minute. You picked what?
24.
Price is Right rules, then you lose.
Yeah, you lose completely.
Right.
Only
Closest without going over. You were under.
yeah. You were
25
under.
is over. You're out. We win.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Without.
That's why people bet $1 so you can't go over.
Then I've misunderstood that my whole life.
People should have bet infinity.
All right, so
But
only
no, you're out. You went over.
No.
no, we didn't.
The answer is over your guess. You're out.
I disagree. And I'll fuck you. I won.
Only one time Patrick Mahomes has lost where the opposition only scored 20 points, and that happened this year. It was Week 5 against the Indianapolis Colts, and that was before the Mahomes injury. So complete blank slate. There's no injury involved whatsoever. In that game, the Indianapolis Colts ran the ball 45 times for 180 yards and possessed the ball for 37 minutes and 15 seconds,
Sounds
keeping
familiar.
Patrick Mahomes on the sideline.
I got a stat for you.
Following week,
Okay.
Houston Texans, they beat Mahomes by a score of 31-24 with a very similar plan. They ran the ball 41 times for 192 yards, and they possessed the ball for 39 minutes and 48 seconds. Why nobody else was able to accomplish this feat the rest of the season, I really couldn't tell you. But those 2 games, Patrick Mahomes stayed on the sideline, and he scored in the Colts game. It was... Oh, I don't have the score to that game. I forgot to get the score to that game. But the Houston Texans game, he scored 24 points, and the Colts game, they won by only scoring 20 points. So
My guess is if you lost 2 games in a row by teams running the ball that many times,
Yeah.
that you went, okay, we're not losing that way again.
Yeah.
If you're going to beat us, you're going to throw the ball and beat
Sure,
us.
of course.
And we're going to sell out. We're going to load the box. And now, at least if you do win, or at least if you do score, you're going to get Pat back out there quicker. And let's say a shootout scenario, like New Orleans, when we played them.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is whoever gets the ball last is either going to win, or whoever makes the least turnovers is going to win. Because let's say everybody's going to score every time they get the ball. Now it's a matter of least mistakes, don't turn the ball over, just keep scoring.
Yeah, and that's basically what I was getting at. Kansas City's best defense is their offense. They can take away the run by just scoring points and building a lead. That's how they take the run away, because their defense, one-on-one, mano-a-mano, their defense can't stop the run. And there's a huge misconception going around that they stopped Derrick Henry. They did not stop
No, they
Derrick
went away
Henry
from
at
it.
all. They went away from Henry. And in the first half, Derrick Henry had 16 carries for 62 yards. In the second half, he only had 3 carries.
And most games, he racked up all his yards in the second half.
Yes,
They went away from it because the Chiefs put so many points on the board.
exactly. And another thing on their run defense, the Chiefs rank dead last in the league when facing a rush that uses pre-snap motion. The 49ers currently lead the NFL in using pre-snap motion 70% of the time before they run the ball. That bodes well for the Niners.
You want a stat from me?
Yes.
I can't remember exactly how many teams, but it was over 7 who have entered the Super Bowl with 55 or more regular season sacks are 7-0 at least in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And the
I heard
Niners
that
have
this week too.
57, So
I did hear that
Wait.
this week too.
Say again?
teams having at least 55 sacks in the regular season that have made it to the Super Bowl.
Defense is having that many.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Are 7-0 in the game or 8.
That's a weird number, though. That's like they made that the number because, like, if they went down to 50-50,
Yeah.
then they didn't win. You know,
Right,
like, it's
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a weird thing.
But I mean,
It's like when they say, if you rush the ball X amount of times, you win.
Right. Yeah,
It's because you're winning and you
Exactly.
ran. It's not because you just keep handing the ball off. Here's a stat for you.
Sure.
Most fourth quarter comebacks in the NFL in 2019.
I know the answer.
Jimmy G. 4?
James Garoppolo tied with Russell Wilson and Josh Allen
Yep.
with 4.
Yep.
Man, I don't know when he's going to prove he can put this team on his back and go win a game.
2 things.
4 fourth quarter comebacks. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean shit. I love it.
2 things. Did you see our friend Brandon F. was in a bad car accident today?
No.
I mean, he's okay. He was his car's pretty fucked up, though. He was
Oh.
rear-ended by some cunt. And we got to say R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as a California team as well. I mean, I don't know. It made me sadder than I expected.
Yeah, me too.
Shocked me.
It definitely hit me.
And I saw it like minutes after it happened. I saw the first like TMZ update. I'm talking like 3 minutes after it happened, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
I'm not even a huge basketball fan.
Yeah.
Not a huge Kobe fan. Just, I don't know, something about just him dying.
Yeah,
It hit me.
I was never a huge Kobe fan until I saw his Kobe Bryant's Muse. It was like a whole documentary about the season coming back from the Achilles. He's a whole nother animal. He's fucked up in the head. I gotta respect that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I don't have any basketball
Yeah.
knowledge or following or anything. What makes it wild is that he's 41,
Right.
and the kid went with him on
Yep.
like all that stuff. It's just like, God,
Yeah.
it makes you really think.
And
that's all.
so he was starting his second career, which was like a movie director, producer, and he won an Oscar his first year, which was last year after retirement.
No
so he
shit.
had a bright second career. Like he was not just making bullshit movies,
No
just
shit.
getting by on his name. He was putting the work in. And so, it seems like they speak on him like it was something that in 10 or 15 years, people might not know that he played basketball. They would only know him from his movie. There'd be a whole generation that might not realize that. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize him and Sherman had a relationship.
Yeah, from the Achilles
Achilles.
recovery.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Kobe tore his in a game and then took fucking foul shots, and he tried
Well-
to roll the Achilles out himself on the court. It was vile. It was disgusting.
Yeah, and I guess they met at like something else,
Commercial shoot.
and they like hit it off. Yeah, Nike shoot, that's what it was. And they hit it off. They were both fans of each other, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then after Richard tore his Achilles, apparently the next day Kobe texted him and said, "I hope you're not being a baby about it."
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Kobe was hardcore.
So getting back to Kansas City stopping the run that they can't do. They have improved over the last 8 weeks statistically than what they were from the beginning of the year, because the beginning of the year they couldn't stop a nosebleed. So they've gotten a little bit better. But long story short, my conclusion is that this is by far the most complex and sophisticated rushing attack that the Chiefs will have seen all season long, including when they face the Baltimore Ravens. And they just will not have an answer for this rushing attack at all.
I like that.
I'm
answer.
not saying that we're not going to have to throw like we did in the first 2 games, because Kansas City's offense is going to put up some more points than Aaron Rodgers did and Kirk Cousins did, most likely. But they will not be able to stop this run. We will be able to run when we want to run.
Dark horse for Super Bowl MVP,
Mostert.
Matt Breida.
Oh.
Who's expecting him
How
to come
about
out?
Juszczyk?
Who's expecting Breida to come out and get all the carries?
Juszczyk or is
No one. Not a single person on the Kansas City Chiefs staff is expecting Matt Breida to come out and get the lion's share of
Nope.
carries.
He
Not one.
might get the start.
And week 3, 4, 5, 6, that's what you expected.
So getting into what the offensive line is against in this game, they've faced much stiffer tests this year than the upcoming one this Sunday in Chris Jones and Frank Clark. But Chris Jones is not Aaron Donald, and Frank Clark is not Chandler Jones. Both players that we played twice this year. With that said, I mean, Frank Clark is the one that runs his mouth a lot, but Chris Jones is the guy that actually needs the attention on the field. The interior needs to keep him in check with double teams on passing downs. Chris Jones is third among all interior defenders with a 19% pass rush win rate. So he's a good player. He's not Aaron Donald, but he's a good player. And the X factor for me in this entire game, it's not Mahomes, it's not Kelsey, it's not Tyreek Hill, and it's not even George Kittle. The X factor in this entire game is the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu.
Let me tell you something. He does not speak well.
No.
I haven't really listened to him.
So they
Agree.
They propped up on the stage Mahomes and Garoppolo, and then Sherman, and they put him out there. If that was the best speaking guy they had, they're fucking. Fuck, were they thinking on the national fucking media stage? That fucking guy, fuck him. Clearly didn't go to Stanford.
They line him up all over the place, and a serious argument could be made that he is their best safety, he's their best corner, he's their best slot corner, and he's even their best linebacker on passing downs. After acquiring him this past year, Kansas City went from being 25th in the league against opposing tight ends to 4th in the league against opposing tight ends. He's second in the league this year with 12 pass breakups, and his game isn't just limited to coverage. He also blitzes 2 to 3 times a game, and he does make a serious impact there. I mean, this guy's instincts and his awareness are next level. He's the kind of player that can make a big play in a big game that just tears your heart out. Kind of like what Richard Sherman did to us back in 2013. He's that type of dude. I mean, the key to this game is Jimmy knowing where he is on every single play. I don't even care if Jimmy's not on the field. If he's on the bench, I want him to know where the Honey Badger is. That's the key to everything, because they line him up all over the place. You got to know where that guy is.
Very, very, very much hope that Jimmy is never on the bench when Tyrann Mathieu's on the field.
Right.
That's bad.
I was making a bad joke.
That's bad news for us.
Yeah. Another fact is Kyle Shanahan has faced this defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, 6 times, and he has a career record of 5-1.
Like that?
8.7 in those games, average 8.7 yards per attempt, 4.3 yards per carry, and he averages 24 points per game. And this is over the course of the past 8 years, and they both held various different positions. They were just on opposing sidelines that many times. The biggest stat that I came away with from regarding our offense is that in the past 4 years, there is no offense that has produced explosive gains, which is gains of 15-plus yards or more in the passing game at a higher rate than the 49ers this year, at 13%.
Wow. Wow. Sneaky stats.
Sneaky Steve.
That's what I got on the
Sneaky
offense.
Sneaky stats.
All right.
I think that this game sets up very well for us. I think that we're going to be able to do what we want, unless Tyrann Mathieu has something to say about that.
So, Greg Williams, put a little bounty on him. Let's get him the fuck out of here.
Does he play special teams?
He did in college. He returned. I think he did with Arizona, too. I'm glad he's out of the division. He's a really good fucking player.
Yeah, I really wanted him out of college, LSU.
So did I.
Yeah.
I wanted him bad, but
Yeah.
we
And
could have
then-
drafted him, but we took Marcus Lattimore instead.
Yeah, I remember.
Fuck.
I remember. And then he was in fucking Arizona. Cardinals.
He had the fucking back-to-back pick sixes on Kaepernick, I think. Or he at least had
Hit
one of the two.
them. And then, yeah, I even when they let him go from when he got out of there.
I couldn't believe that they let him go.
Because they just let him go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had wanted the Niners to make a move there.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy stuff.
Now he could just die.
All right, you guys want to move over to the defense?
Sure.
Defense. Patrick Mahomes currently is averaging
Is it
3.3, 3.3 seconds to throw in the playoffs. And his regular season average was 2.86. So in the playoffs, defense have not been getting to him fast enough.
That's not going to be the case this
I
week.
do not think that that's going to be the case either. But he does average over 10 yards per attempt when given 2.5 seconds or more to throw, which leads the league. And what's so crucial about stopping him is mixing up your coverages, disguising coverages, disguising your blitzes is crucial to stopping him, because if you just run the same thing over and over and over again, he will pick you apart. I know he's only been a starter for 2 years. He's been in the league for 3, but he does have a high football IQ as a quarterback. I know a lot of people just look at him as like a freak, like athlete, and he can make all these crazy throws, but he actually does have a relatively high football IQ.
How many quarterbacks played for San Francisco and then went to Kansas City? Do you know the answer?
I mean, I know 2. I'm
It's the
guessing
most,
there's
it's
more.
the most in NFL history from quarterbacks to start for one team and then go to another team and start.
Is the answer 2?
No,
It's more than 2, so I'm
more
forgetting
than double
somebody.
that.
What?
It's 5.
Well, Montana, Alex Smith,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
Steve Bono, Elvis Gerback, and the 5th one, I'll get back to you.
Okay. Interesting. So far this season, Patrick Mahomes has been pressured the 4th fewest amount of snaps among all quarterbacks. Against top 12 pass rush teams this season, which accounts for 5 of his games, his passing yards per game dropped from 330 passing yards per game to 253 passing yards per game against top 12 pass rushes. His touchdown, this is a big one. Against top 12 pass rush teams this season, his touchdown to interception ratio went from 25 touchdowns to 2 interceptions against not top 12 teams to 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions against top 12 teams.
The missing quarterback was Steve DeBerg in 1978.
Kansas City uses play action on 31.4% of their dropbacks, which ranks 4th in the league. I honestly don't see any reason why that should affect this game, because I fully believe that this defense is going to stop the run. The past 2 games, Patrick Mahomes has been their leading rusher in the playoffs.
Might be the same thing this game.
It might be the same thing this game, which is interesting because if you look back on all the teams that gave us a hard time this year on defense, it was the mobile quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and I'm probably forgetting one. So, I mean, and that's new too. I mean, he wasn't running like he has been in the playoffs like he was in the regular season. It's a new thing, so it's definitely something that we need to account for. So that's that. And I mean, as far as Kelsey goes, I think that covering Kelsey is going to end up being a group effort. I don't think that it's just going to be designated to one or
He can
one or
fuck
two
off.
guys.
Fuck him. I don't like him one bit.
I think that we're going to end up seeing Jimmy Ward cover him. We're going to see Quan cover him. We're going to see Greenlaw cover him, Fred Warner, and even Kawan Williams. Like, there's going to be multiple dudes, Kwaski Tart. That's going to be a group effort in covering him. And I think that that's going to be one of the keys.
So the Chiefs finished the season 12-4.
Yep.
You want to hear the 12 teams they beat?
It's not impressive.
Not at all impressive. Jacksonville, Oakland, Baltimore, impressive. But week 3.
Yeah, week 3 Baltimore.
Week 3 Baltimore. But
that's
still,
a lot
they
different than the Baltimore we faced.
But they beat Baltimore, Detroit,
Yep.
Denver, Minnesota, the Chargers, Oakland, New England, Denver, Chicago, and the Chargers.
Impressive win was New England.
4 losses. They lost to the Colts, the Texans, the Packers, and the Titans.
All playoff teams.
I don't know. I think they lost to the Packers when they didn't have Mahomes.
Oh, probably.
So, but
Where'd he get hurt?
I don't remember
Denver,
the exact
maybe, the
game.
win?
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, their schedule is not impressive.
No.
And if you look at their total output of points per game, they've only scored 40 points in 3 games this year. Jacksonville, not impressive. Oakland, not impressive. And Houston, not impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, the only defense that they faced this year that was comparable to ours was New England. How many points did they score against New England? 23.
And their rush yards allowed is significantly high.
Do you think that do you think you're beating Kyle Shanahan with 23 points? I don't.
Not with their defense.
They had one game where they allowed 52 yards rushing against Denver. After that, every single game is 70, 80, 90, 90, 90, and then all over 100.
Yep. Yeah, they're not stopping this run.
And a couple over 200.
They are not, even if they get out to a lead, say 17-point lead, we're still running the ball. We're not going to stop running the ball. I mean, obviously, it depends on how much time is left. But let's just say they jump out to a quick 17-point lead, like what happened to the Niners in the 2012 NFC Championship game against Atlanta. That team fell behind 17-0, came back to win. But Kaepernick threw his way out of that. Shanahan could run his way out of a 17-point deficit. He could throw, too. Jimmy could throw his way out of a 17-point deficit. We could also run it out of it, too. That's what's different about this team that they're facing this week and facing Derrick Henry last week. One thing I do expect is for Tyreek Hill to try and get past Richard Sherman a few times.
Good, I hope he does, because Jimmy Ward's
gonna
smash
take
his
his fucking
fucking teeth
head
out.
off. Yeah, good.
I could definitely see them trying that a few times, though, and
They
I
should
think
let him do
that
it right in the beginning and then just let Jimmy Ward just fucking get the 15 yards.
fine with me. Mahomes leads the league in passer rating and touchdowns when throwing the ball 15 yards or more downfield, but the 49ers defense was among the best in the league, as we all know, as preventing deep throws. And the only team that faced fewer deep throws per game than the Niners were the Bills.
It's odd.
And one of the reasons behind that is because in order to attempt a deep throw, you have to not get sacked. When you're attempting a deep throw against the Niners, you're probably getting sacked. That's the reason behind that. And with that said, Tyreek Hill lines up again on Sherman's side only 23% of the time.
1 out of 4.
Over the course of the season, Tyreek Hill would be lined up against Sherman 23% of the time.
We'll see if they load up heavy on that.
Yeah. I feel like that's a matchup that they would want to explore.
You think that Sherman might be a step slower than Mosley, but smarter than Mosley.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a trade-off there.
Yeah.
I mean, all the talk is just about how Sherman knows the route before anybody else knows it.
Big mismatch for our benefit is Nick Bosa versus Eric Fisher, their left tackle. And I fully expect Mahomes to be running to his right side all night long. The downside to that is that Mahomes has been phenomenal when rushing to his right. I think Robert Saleh is going to counteract that. I think what he's going to end up doing is him and Chris Kasurik are going to come up with design pass rush formations so that way they can squeeze the open space in order to, instead of D Ford aiming for his waist, he'll aim for his left shoulder. So that way when Mahomes goes to flush out to the right, D Ford's already
a
there
step
waiting
over.
for him. I do expect to see that. And just to finish it off.
You think D wants to put a hit on him?
Oh, yeah.
He wants to rip his fucking head off.
What?
Yeah.
He's had to play all nice, and the other one, Chiefs.
Frank Clark.
Frank Clark has kind of been a cunt all week.
Yeah.
But D Ford's definitely taking the higher road, so you know what the outcome's
Yeah.
going to be.
You got to assume that he
the-
took some shit from the rest of the team.
You know the offsides thing from
Yeah,
last
yeah.
year and all that. He's like digging at him like he was there for it or something. He wasn't even there for it.
But you got to figure somebody in that locker room pissed him off after it happened.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, like first of all, he could have been like, "Well, guess what? We wouldn't have been in this game if I wasn't here. So
Right.
go fuck
Right.
yourself."
If I didn't have 18
you know?
target sacks, yeah.
Yeah.
So just some quick Super
Now,
Bowl
mind you,
history.
if that was the Niners, we would be fucking throwing stones at him. We'd be stoning
Yeah,
him
I'm
like
sure.
Kyle Williams. Especially in offsides, like he doesn't get worse than that. And I think it
Unexcusable.
called back an interception too, right?
It did.
Like it was like
the game
most
would have been
epic.
over.
Yeah, like it was a pick.
So
It might have
insane.
been a pick six. It got called back because
Yeah.
of it. Because he was lined up. And he didn't even jump. He was lined up offside.
Right.
That is fucking brutal.
And you know what's
Like, if
funny
you
about
jumped-
that?
Yeah, I might not hire him based on that.
You know how when a player fucks up really bad, then come the fucking death threats and people come after him on social media. D Ford doesn't have a Twitter account and didn't have a Twitter account, so all the Chiefs fans mobbed this account called D Ford, and it was some lady that like lives in Europe, and she's like, "I'm not the American football player D Ford."
That's amazing.
Just some Super Bowl history statistics. This is just based on the last 20 years, because I think modern era you can't really compare to a lot of shit that happened a long time ago. Over the past 20 years, teams with the higher ranked offense have lost 9 straight Super Bowls.
Wow.
Ooh.
Teams ranked higher in defensive DVOA is a metric that I still don't fully understand, but a lot of people like. Teams with the higher rated in defensive DVOA have an 11-6 record. Teams ranked higher in defensive DVOA have won the past 4 straight Super Bowls. Top 5 defenses have an 8-5 record in the Super Bowl.
Defense wins championships, Steve.
And this is the big one.
That's what these stats mean.
The big one is top 5 ranked offenses have a 1-5 record against when facing a top 5 defense.
Oh, wow. You know what else is even bigger than that?
What's that?
Steve and Joe won theirs in Miami.
Yep. It's
Time to add a name to that list.
with a Shanahan.
Time to jump in there.
Jim.
Yep. It's, dude, the amount of similarities to this season and, like, I mean, I obviously wasn't alive for the Super Bowl against Marino, but looking at his statistics for that year, the guy threw for over 5,000 yards and 48 touchdowns in 1984. That shit is unprecedented. Like, I could only imagine the lead up to that game with everybody saying that Marino was going to fucking torch the Niners, and he didn't. He scored 16 points.
He was such a cunt. I fucking hate him.
Like,
He is the Aerosmith of the NFL, in my opinion. In my fucking opinion.
That's a good one.
Dan Marino
That's pretty good.
is the Aerosmith.
That's pretty fucking good.
I hate both those fucking...
This-
and I hate people that support those camps.
This week of more press and like more questions being asked and more stuff being out
Sure.
there has really just solidified
How great this team is.
the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Like how great this coaching staff is. Everything you hear, players are really careful not to take shots at their other coaches from the past, but it's hard for them to. You can see them struggling to not, like Sherman struggling to not call out Pete Carroll, and he was like at one point he was like, let's just say in all my years of playing football, like he was
Emmanuel
super.
Sanders gave the same sentiment, but when speaking about like the culture and the camaraderie within the locker room.
Yeah.
So it was very, but he's like, man, that, the Denver team in 2015, we won the Super Bowl. That's a special team. He goes, but there's something here, like something.
Yeah, and he's only been there 3 months.
Yeah, and he does it like he wants, like
Yeah.
if he could just speak freely, like let's be for real.
And there's no way that you will find an interview with Emmanuel Sanders before this year where he talks so excitedly about blocking.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no way.
Did you hear him talking about it?
Yeah, I did.
He was talking about it the way Kittle does.
Yes.
And he's never said that before. There's no way. He said something about when you hit your block just right and then you see the running back run past you for a touchdown, that it might be better than catching a touchdown.
I was listening
What wide receiver says that?
I heard Stephon Diggs earlier today in an interview, and they were asking him about how, earlier in the year the Vikings were winning games by running the ball, but you and Adam Thielen had an issue with Kirk Cousins. You weren't getting passes, and he's like, yeah, well, when you have 2 great receivers and you're not getting utilized, you're going to be pissed off regardless of the outcome. And I'm like, no, I don't want you on my team.
Yep. 100%.
You're not the kind of guy I want on my team.
100%.
And the vibe between the Niners and the Chiefs are very different. I don't know if you guys have picked up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, the Chiefs definitely think that they have this in the bag, 100%. And the Niners are just like, all right, like, not going to say anything.
Back to work.
Like, they're silently more confident.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it also speaks volumes. Like I said, Frank Clark had a negative tone. Not a negative tone, but like he wasn't.
He's a cunt.
Yeah, he's being a cunt.
I forgot to list one injury on the news injuries updates list.
What's that?
George Kittle's torn labrum.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. It's crazy.
2 seasons.
Did
What
you
a
read the
fucking
article?
madman.
And he refuses to get it.
Well, and they said something about having surgery. He said 0% chance.
Yeah, I can't work out. He said, I got to keep
Like,
working out.
not even like I'm going to have it. Like,
Right.
no, I'm not doing it.
Like, well, it might make you better. Nah, fuck it. All right.
Well, it might make them worse. I don't know. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing that.
Somebody else played, I think, 2 years like that, but then they eventually got it fixed.
a defensive guy.
Yeah, it was, fuck. I know this.
It was somebody good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this.
Von
I
Miller?
forget. No. I don't
I
remember.
want to say it was somebody on the Cowboys. but-
DeMarcus Ware?
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence.
Lawrence. Yeah. But he eventually broke down and got it fixed.
Yes.
We'll see about Kittle.
Well,
maybe
the
if Kittle
only-
gets a ring, he's like, fuck it, fix my shoulder.
The only reason he got it fixed was because he was going into a contract year. That's the only reason he got it fixed. All right, that's what we got for breaking down the matchups in this game and statistical breakdown or whatever. We'll give you our predictions and all that stuff in the next episode. But right now, we have some emails from last week to catch up on because we got so many after the NFC Championship game and we ran out of time. So
Do we know where we are? Because I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, we'll figure it out on the fly.
Did we play Just Joe?
Yeah, we played. I believe we played Just Joe. I don't know. I'll
have,
talk while somebody else figures it out.
I don't know how we go about figuring it out.
I'll figure it out when I see him.
Okay.
I will say, I don't know. It's just so. I remember going into the Super Bowl against Baltimore, and I feel like going into that Super Bowl, I felt the same way that Chiefs fans feel right now. Whereas I thought that Niner team was literally better across the board at every single position, and there was no fucking chance in hell that Baltimore Ravens team was going to beat Jim Harbaugh's Niners that year. There's not one person leading up to that game could tell me different. And this year, I feel confident, but in a different way. Like, I don't know. Maybe last time I was like trying to convince myself of something.
Well, I said it's a totally different feel, just based on the fact that Harbaugh's not creating that environment of, uber
And that
competitive.
week leading up to it was a mess. Like, Chris Culliver said some dumb shit. I forget exactly what it was. Randy Moss declared himself as the greatest receiver of all time while playing for the 49ers. Like, it was just, like, there
was a lot.
I mean,
I just don't feel like they were as prepared as
Dante
this
Whitner
was.
recently said that when they got there, he thinks they partied too much and they read their own news clippings a little bit too much. I remember what that locker room looked like after we beat the Falcons. They were spraying champagne bottles and jumping around like they had just won the Super Bowl, and it was like, whoa, there's like one more game. Whereas this team, they were all excited after beating Green Bay in the NFC Championship game, but it was a completely different tone.
They know the job's not done.
It's not done yet.
I believe we played Just Joe, but not Anthony Scott.
Yeah. I remember we had Just Joe.
I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, I think that's where we were.
Okay, so Anthony Scott says Super Bowl, bitches.
I don't think Chris was ready for us to just. Ooh.
It's Just Joe, though.
Yeah, we already heard that one.
That is definitely what we
Morning,
heard.
boys. Well, afternoon, boys. Whatever time you're doing your podcast. It's Jimmy B here from
That's Jimmy
the
B.
UK.
Really?
Yeah. You're 0 for 2.
Looking for Anthony Scott.
There we go.
In the
voice
Super
message.
Bowl, we back. Dude, it's crazy, man. We're in the Super Bowl. This team that wasn't doing nothing the last couple years has figured it all out, put it all together, got the quarterback, has a system that everybody is buying into, have leaders on the defense. It's just we look like the real deal right now, and that's amazing to me. It just so happens that the day I was born was the day the Niners won Super Bowl 24 against the Broncos. And now it's 30 years later. I'm about to turn 30 in a week. And, the Niners could bookend my life, essentially. Also, back in 97, when I was 7 years old, the Packers were my second team, and I actually had more Packers gear than the Niners just because I thought it looked cool. But I always established that the Niners were my favorite team. So when the Packers won that championship game against us, I could have very easily been a fair weather fan and said, I like the Packers, but I was like, nah, I'm sticking with my Niners, and I don't care. I believe in, whatever the hell we're going to do. And I liked Jeff Garcia at one point, and then he was gone, and we had clowns like Tim Rattay playing quarterback. And then when Alex Smith was our quarterback,
You better watch your mouth and not say Sean Hill.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers is so much better. I was like, you know what? If Aaron Rodgers had to start right away for us, as opposed to getting to sit behind a legend for 3 years, he's not the same guy. And I was saying this for years. And then that comes back because this game, everybody's like, oh my God, the Niners could have had Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God, you know what? We don't need Aaron Rodgers. Screw him. You know why? Because we're in the Super Bowl. He's not, he's a Hall of Famer, but I don't like his face. All right? And so in the end of the day, I'm a little worried about the Chiefs. Not going to lie. I wasn't worried about the Vikings. I wasn't worried about the Packers. But, the Chiefs, it's going to end up looking like the Saints game. It's going to have to look like that, but we've shown we can do it. So we're here. We're in the Super Bowl. You guys who do this podcast, I love you guys. You've made this season that much more enjoyable. And just keep up what you're doing and enjoy the game. Win or lose, this has been a truly special season. And if I had emotions, I would cry. So, voila. Peace out. Gold blood.
Well, hopefully you don't die after this Super Bowl one way or the other, Anthony Scott.
I believe Anthony Scott's from Connecticut, right?
That's what you're telling me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in his picture on his thing, I think he's got a New Haven hat on.
Right on.
I think he told us that.
All right.
If you are local to the area, stay tuned for a big announcement next week.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah. Stay tuned for a big announcement.
All right, we're going to check in with a written piece by the Heartblood here, Matt Matterson. Championships, Part 2. Is that like I forget. I'm doing email and no audio this week due to a terrible cold. The Niners continue to pack heat against Green Bay. Offensive Beast of the Week goes to Raheem Mostert, 4 touchdowns and over 200 rushing yards. Defensive Beast of the Week goes to the Bosonator. So while I am resting voice, I will have time to think about Super Bowl predictions. I am out really. Wow. While I am resting voice. That's it?
Yep.
Okay. That's it.
All right. We will wrap up the remainder of the emails and catch us in episode 2 where we will give you predictions, shoe slinger, and all of that fun stuff. Email us, goldbloodedpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, goldbloodedpodcast, no underscores. Twitter, Gold-Blooded Pod, and Patreon. While you still can, please donate to this service we
Steve's
provide.
going away party.
Yep, my going away party. And Carissa's. And you can find that patreon.com.
No, we're not partying that he's leaving. We're partying that you're leaving.
Awesome, yes. Patreon.com/Gold-Blooded Podcast.
We're out, really.